All right, this is a continuation of Module 2, Lesson 5, Part 3, where we're looking at examples of the Type 1 questions. You have already seen a less than and a greater than, and we have two to go. They are the between statement and also what we call the tails. So let's jump right into those. We're using the same example that we had earlier. According to the American College Test, ACT Math results from the 2017 testing found that students had a mean math score of 20.7 with a standard deviation of 2 and assume the distribution is normally distributed. Again, as I've pointed out several times before, we have to know, and we're told, that the distribution is normally distributed. We also have to know the mean of the distribution, which in this problem we're told is 20.7, and we have to know the standard deviation, which again is given as 2.0. Again, the clue to tell me which command to use on my calculator, it says find the probability. It could also say find the percentage, find the area under the curve. Remember, those phrases are synonymous and refer to the same thing. So this question says find the probability that a randomly selected student has a score between 18.4 and 20.9. And again, as we've seen with the others, you can actually write this expression in symbols. So we're saying it's between 18.4 and 20.9. And again, it'll help you if you'll create a visual by drawing the graph. So I'm going to draw my horizontal axis and my bell-shaped curve with the mean in the middle, which is given as 20.7. The low score is 18.4, which would be below the mean, so I'd be somewhere here on the left. That's 18.4. The high value is 20.9, so that's going to be slightly above the mean. And we want to know what's the probability that they score between those two. So you're looking for kind of this region in between those two numbers. So the difference between this one and the others we've looked at already is we have a definite start point and a definite ending point, as opposed to having a start value and going to infinity or negative infinity. Again, we're going to use the normal CDF command because we're asked to find the probability. So what you're eventually going to type is normal CDF. You start with the low value first, so that's 18.4, to the high value of 20.9, the mean of 20.7, and the standard deviation of 2. Okay, I'm going to pull my calculator up, walk you through the keystrokes. Okay, to get your command, it's second vars, which is next to the clear button. That pulls up your distribution menu. We're using option number 2. We enter the lowest value first, so that's 18.4, comma, the ending or the high value of 20.9, comma, the mean of 20.7, and the standard deviation of 2.0. Close off the parenthesis, press enter, and we get a value of 0.4147559076. Rounding to 4 places, that's going to give us a value of 0.4148. So again, if you think about, well, what does that really mean? What's the interpretation here of that particular information? What that means to us is the probability a student scores between 18.4 and 20.9 is 0.4148, or approximately 41%. All right, one more. Same question. Okay, we still know that our distribution is normally distributed. We still know we have a mean of 20.7. We still know that we have a standard deviation of 2. Okay, so all of that holds true. And again, we're being asked to find the probability. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, and it's different from all the others because it says a score less than 18.6 or greater than 22.3. So you really have two options here. But again, if you see it written in symbols, you'll see it written this way. Let me get back to... Okay, so the probability that my score is less than 18.6 or my score is greater than 22.3. Again, it'll help you if you create the visual. So if I draw my horizontal axis and my bell-shaped curve, okay, so I'm going to draw my horizontal axis and my bell-shaped curve. My mean is in the middle, which is 20.7. I have point of interest on the left, which is 18.6. And I also have one on the right, which is 22.3. Now, remember, to be less than 18.6 means I'm going to be out here to the left. When you're out here on the end, we call that a tail. To be greater than 22.3, you're going to be on the right-hand side on the end, which again is called the tail. So we call this problem the tails because we're really looking for the value of the tails. But to simplify the calculations, let's think about this for a minute. Again, remember, we learned early on that the entire curve is 1 or 100%. And so if I could subtract this region that's here in the middle, this white piece, okay, this is kind of like the no good area. It's not what I'm looking for. I want to get rid of that region in the middle. Well, that region runs between those 2 points. And so if I say 1 whole, because that's the whole pie, and I remove that middle piece that I no longer want, then that's going to give me the probability, and it simplifies my calculations just a wee bit. So we start at 18.6, go to 22.3, mean of 20.7, standard deviation of 2. Okay, but the key thing is, and the one thing that students tend to forget, guys, you got to remember in this scenario, you got to put this 1. Okay, you got to put the 1 there. Okay, if you don't put the 1 there, you'll get the wrong answer. Okay, so let's pull up our calculator and I'll show you how to type it in. Okay, you can go ahead and type 1 minus, and we're going to take out the piece that we don't want. Okay, so we get our command, second bars to get our distribution list. Number 2, we go from 18.6 to 22.3 to 20.7, mean of 2, or standard deviation of 2, close it up. Okay, so basically what our hand wrote is now in my calculator, and I press enter. and I get 0.35871444143. Okay, so again, rounding to 4 places, I'm going to have 0.3587. Okay, so my answer is 0.3587. So there's an approximately a 30% chance that a student would score less than 18.6 or greater than 22.3. Okay, so that completes all of the examples of the different types of questions you'll see where you're asked to find the probability. You have a less than, a greater than, which were on the first video. Then you have a between and the tails on this video.